spotlights individuals, events, and organizations around the world. We focus on people that are advancing humanity and empowering the planet. So the reason we're here today is we get to spotlight 8 amazing individuals that have been changing lives around the world since they were kids. And they've done that through a very special platform that has pioneered and changed entertainment and philanthropy forever. So a lot of you guys know who these people are, but you might not know some statistics, some factoids that I want to share with you today. But before we do, I want you guys to be prepared that we can do some interactive activities together. So Walt Disney and my favorite, Yoda, they are kings of manifesting. They are able to visualize something and bring it to reality. So later today, we're going to be able to do some group activities together, interactively, where we can close our eyes, we can visualize, and we can make things happen that might be near impossible. So, you guys ready for that? Are you going to help me out? All right. So let's talk about some facts. Did you guys know that the Mickey Mouse Club was a passion project of Walt Disney's? In fact, it was so near and dear to his heart that he built it and designed it to promote Disneyland. And from there, the all-new revived Mickey Mouse Club premiered in 1988 on the Disney Channel. And what that did for the Disney Channel is it took it from 5 million subscribers to 15 million in 1995. Now, the Mickey Mouse Club, it was taped at Disney's Hollywood Studios as a part of the Backlot Tour. Now, what I didn't know is that the kids that auditioned were normal kids from North America. These were not the LA and New York-based talent that Hollywood is used to. These were average individuals like you and I. In fact, over 100,000 kids auditioned, but only 38 total were chosen over 7 seasons. Now, I personally would like to talk to Jeff Vail and find out what happened to my audition tape, because I never got called back. But that's okay, I understand why. Now, 7 of those 8 that were chosen are here with us today. And they are the original cast that kicked off the 90s version of the Mickey Mouse Club. So, are you guys excited about what's going to happen here next? Now, from these 8 Mouseketeers, 4 of them were selected. They were handpicked, and they were actually the part of the party band. Who here knows about the party? Now, this is interesting because the party was not a manufactured band like a lot of bands were in this era of music. It was actually 5 best friends. So this is an opportunity for us to practice our manifesting magic like we talked about earlier. So, what did the Mickey Mouse Club look like 30 years ago? What I want you guys to do is close your eyes. Let's manifest like Walt Disney and Yoda. And let's bring a powerful visual so we can experience and see what the Mickey Mouse Club was like. You guys ready to take a peek at the show? All right, we're going to roll a special video for you.
The leader of the club that's made for you and me. M-I-C-K-E-R-M-O-U-S-E.
Time to twist our mouse dial to the right and the left with a great big smile. This is the way we get to see a mouse cartoon for you and me. Cheers for the merry Mouseketeers, Mouseketeers!
Mouseketeers? All right, here we go. Jennifer McGill. All right, Randy Brown Pendleton. Albert Fields. Lindsay Alley. Dee Dee Magno Hall. Jason Hampton. And Damon Campolina. Mr. Hanson. And Dale Godboldo. Okay, we're going to talk about some history and legacy behind the Mickey Mouse Club. And you guys are going to tell some stories that they haven't heard before. Because you guys are doing great stuff 30 years later. Okay, so you guys joined a 50-year legacy. And you are a part of notable, Mouseketeers like Annette Funicello, Bobby Burgess, Cubby, and the late Don Grady. What was that like? What was it like working with them, and what were the experiences for you?
Well, hey everyone. I have many memories. I'm looking at Chase because Chase and I second met at an audition for a movie that was supposed to be about the original Mouseketeers. So before this series idea happened to me as a small town talent show girl, I was researching, I had a very small mind about, I didn't know the wonderful world of Mickey Mouse Club times and Disney and I didn't know a lot about it. I was only, 9 or 10 at the time, and I just hadn't seen a lot of that entertainment world, but I researched the kids, and I was going to play either Darlene or Doreen, depending on how much of a growth spurt I had by the time they shot the movie. So Chase and I were in the final auditions for that process, so I got kind of a head start. And so when I actually saw these kids all grown and in front of us and professional and polished like that, all the things we were striving to become in our young lives, I just had a whole new appreciation for how that sticks with you your whole life. Planting that seed of what Disney stands for and the entertainment value and the reason why we go the extra mile to present the way that we do and why we care. It showed up in every one of their faces in rehearsal. And of course, Annette, just looking at her, her husband was with her, and she would, put her help aside and get out there and do the moves in the dance studio. And I just looked at her with wonder, because we know she was working with some physical challenges and some pain, and she was there for everything that we're doing too, basically to present and to touch your hearts. She knew that it was worth it. And so that was the big thing for me, just their aura, just the way they were.
We got to watch them over the years continue way past their time on the show being Disney ambassadors. And Jennifer's from Denison, Texas, right? And I'm from Oklahoma. Like you said, we're not Hollywood kids, and to all of a sudden kind of be in this place where we're representing this huge corporation was mind-blowing. It was really neat. But to be mentored by the best of the best, the Bobbies and the Dons and these guys that would come in and work with us. And I actually think we got a clip of that 25-year reunion when they came with us and did some stuff with us on the show. If they have it, that'd probably be a good time to play it. I don't know, some of you guys haven't even seen it.
You guys want to watch a clip?
What do you get when you mix the original Mouseketeers with the new Mouseketeers? innovative, funky, new
part of history, jam-packed with
your volume, your thing.
the blending of the two generations.
It's like deja vu, all like spiked out.
It's a unique experience.
It's the Mickey Mouse Club reunion show, a raging party full of nostalgia.
If I tune up in advance, do you think you might be able to,
It's an invitation.
I was wondering if you might want to appear on a TV show with me.
I'd love to.
You would?
This special is a combination of the old with the new. There's 6 original Mouseketeers here, and we're working with the new kids, and we're singing and dancing and doing skits.
Making music is fun! Yeah!
We have one big production number called When the Radio Is On, where it's almost like a challenge. We do the 50s type things, the twist and the pony and all, and they're doing all the new rap moves. And then they bring us up to date, and we did the rock out.
Because you know the beat goes on. They'll be dancing in the streets when the radio is on.
We're still singing and dancing, and with the kids that we sang and danced next to 35 years ago. And we look over and smile and wink at each other because it brings back such wonderful, happy, warm memories. And it's great that all these years later we can still do it.
Come on, baby, just close the door. Come on, baby, let's rock some more. Come on, baby, let the good times roll. Roll all night long.
Come on, baby, rock me all night long.
When you work for a living, you're raising children like my wife and I are. You forget how much fun this can be, and this is fun.
Hi, Mouska honey. Hi, Mouska kids.
Miska, Muska, Mouseketeer, Mouskadaddy now is here.
It's like getting together with your old high school buddies, or even before that, junior high. The same relationships and the dynamics work, you know, we still tease each other.
They're just like us, but
I really can relate to them.
exactly, they're like kids at heart.
What really impresses me, and to be redoing history, is a lot of responsibility because you're compared a lot to the original. But I think with the help of Disney and the wonderful staff that we have, I think we pulled it out pretty well.
The show had so much impact, not just for little kids, but, you know, for their parents and their grandmothers sat and what. So, you know, it was a whole different generation of people that remembered it and loved it, and, you know, look back with fond memories, and you always like to try to repeat something that was very dear to you.
Don't miss the memories and the massive party premiering April 26th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. The Mickey Mouse Club reunion show only on the Disney Channel.
There it is.
So I've always been curious, what was the audition process like?
It's actually different for everybody. Like, you know, like Jennifer was saying, it was a lot of times, back then they didn't have the internet, there wasn't YouTube and stuff like that, so a lot of times they'd go through middle America with these kind of mall tours, and they would say, like, everybody come down to the mall and audition, you know, for the next big part. And you always wondered if that was ever really a thing, or anybody ever really got, you know, noticed on that. But mine was actually a big cattle call like that in Dallas. I went down to Dallas. I don't know about you guys, but...
Yeah, Matt Casella went nationwide to find this cast. So instead of waiting for the kids to come to him, he went out and searched America for this cast. And the numbers have been varying through the years. I heard 12,000 the first round.
100,000.
100,000.
Oh, wow.
I was off.
First round. Oh,
First
sorry.
round. First
Yeah,
round.
not first round.
About 12,000 kids. But he was all over the United States searching. And that's how he found the first original 12. And then I think each cast after that, right? He still would go out.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 He hit me up in Dallas. Big cattle call, about 3,000 or 4,000 people there. They just bring, you hear it on the radio, they're casting for the next round of Mouseketeers, come on down. And I remember in my round, they whittled it down that day, all day long. They whittled it down to about 10 of us by the end of the day. So they would see you dance, they would see you, you know, do a little skit. They give you a little one sheet of paper, a little scene. They'd watch you do it, and then they'd say, okay, you can stay, you can go. And yeah, and then from there they would call you to an audition camp, say months later, for like 3 days of intense training, singing, dancing. Now I came after these guys, right? So they would give me Albert's song that he did on the show that I'm expected to sound like him. I don't sound like Albert. You know what I mean?
The pressure was on.
The pressure was on.
I do have a funny audition story. I only had 2 auditions for the Mickey Mouse Club. My first audition ever was in front of Matt Casella, some appointment, and so I went in there. I had to tap dance. Most of us, we had to do all the theater things. Tap dance, jazz shoes, leotards. We had to do all the musical theater things because,
Triple,
you know,
quadruple.
fairness, that's where we were coming from as far as the tradition of the show. So I did all the things, but then I was just excited to go downstairs and ice skate in the big mall in the big town that I auditioned in. So he actually ran down, he found us in the mall, like at the skating rink, and asked me to come back for something, you know, for another taping. So I was like, oh, okay, can I skate? Cool. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Cool. You know, and then I went to the final audition with you guys. Like, it was very short for me, but I thought that was really romantic. He just came out and found me in the ice skating rink. Please come back for it.
Matt Casella is by far one of the greatest human beings. He found, you know, the Britneys, the Ryan Goslings, you know, there wouldn't be Nsync, there wouldn't be any of this stuff. This guy he kind of stays under the radar, but I want to put his name out there as much as possible. We all are best of friends, and we wouldn't have each other without him.
Yeah, he is responsible for some of the biggest careers in the world today that you guys all know. Christina, Brittany, all that. He found those.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I did not tap dance for my audition. What? Neither did I. I got out of that.
I did, and I am not a dancer. I mean, well, you know. Anyway, but they made me tap dance. So for like 2 weeks before we hired a choreographer, I stayed in my basement, literally, and I learned how to tap dance. And I tap danced for my audition. I don't know how good it was, but I did.
You got there. You got there.
Obviously, it was good enough because
It was, I guess.
you're here.
Yeah. I thought
Can
everyone had to do that.
I want to go back to 1988 to Hollywood Studios Park.
MGM. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we have some purists in the house, you know, we gotta call it what it was, right?
Yeah, but that was the first time you guys met each other, right? Those are the first days. Tell me about that.
If I just may, I'm gonna let somebody else answer, but I just want to say, can you imagine being kind of the best of what you do in your little area, in your little town, and you I got the part, everybody's celebrating you, and then you come here and you're like, what's gonna happen? And you walk into a room full of all these guys who every one of them is just to the top, to the hill. You think you're good at something, you look to the right or to the left, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I have to really step it up. I gotta really work. But also that's the brilliance in everything, that in how we kind of pushed each other to greatness. We would watch each other, we would help each other, mentor each other. You know, it's like when you go golfing with somebody who's good, all of a sudden you golf better. You know what I mean? We were literally in company of some of the greatest up-and-coming talent in the world. It was just so fun to live that, go to school with, lean on and learn from all of this, you know.
So I'll give you a specific of one of my first meetings. I'm only doing this because I feel like everyone knows Damon's like vivacious personality. So I met everyone else in an audition where we all went together. It was like a screen test audition. Don't worry. Anyway, so I'd already met everyone else. We had already auditioned together and whatever. So one day I'm walking through the bungalow at Disney MGM, and someone, I don't remember who it was, goes, "Oh, Brandy, come here. I want you to meet somebody." And I was just like, whoa. He like put his hand, "Oh, I'm David Pamplina," and like shook my hand, and I was like, oh my
That's exactly
goodness.
how I did it.
Because literally later, one of the publicists had written something that was like, "Meeting David Pamplina is like being taken by a whirlwind." And literally, you know, I'm a very, very relaxed, kind of very easygoing type personality, reserved, I guess. Reserved. And so to meet someone like him, it just blew me away. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I never will forget, I went back, I got in the car with my brother, and I was like, I just like met this person, and I've never been so overwhelmed. Anyway, I thought you would find that funny.
Wow.
Diamond.
makes an impression.
It does.
And that's, you know what's great is there was a lot of videotaping taking place at that time. So me and my good friend Chase, we were together just a few years ago. He pulls out those tapes, and so I'm starting to see these relationships start at the very, very beginning, the first few days, and I'm already seeing it on these tapes of the sparking of relationships and friendships. I'm like, oh my God, there it is. There it was before it ever became, you know, what it grew into. It was incredible to go back and see that recently. And the relationships, the friendships now, lifetime friendships, brothers, and to see it spark in that rehearsal hall was incredible. So incredible.
We might have a video that might capture a little bit of that, brother. We have,
Look at that.
we, at some point, these guys, the crew that was with us was also just amazing because they kind of became our family and would, if we wanted to learn how to run a camera, they would, hey, come sit with us. Let me show you how to run, come in the sound booth. And at some point they gave us all, these big video cameras. You know, everybody had the big video cameras back then. And they're like, hey, you guys shoot the video, because we would shoot music videos. And I believe you guys have Together Forever, if I'm not mistaken.
Together Forever, yeah.
This is kind of an old fun one.
With footage from when we all first met.
Yep.
Okay, let's watch that.
If there's anything, all you have to do is say, you know, you satisfy everything. You shouldn't waste a single day. So don't stop me falling, it's destiny calling. My power, I just can't deny. It's never changing. If you hear me, I'm saying I want you for the rest of my life. Together forever and ever to part. Together forever is true. And don't you know I will move heaven and earth to be together forever with you. Together forever and ever to part. Together forever is true. And don't you know I will move heaven and earth to be together forever with you. Together forever and ever to part. Together forever is true. And don't you know I will move heaven and earth to be together.
So the reason I'm here today is because social impact is very important to what we're doing through the Be Great Productions. And what fascinates me about the Mickey Mouse Club is the fact that Disney started teaching all of the Mouseketeers early on, no matter what their age groups, about the importance of giving back and serving others and humanitarian efforts. So what I want you guys to do is share some of those insights of what you learned about integrity and collaboration and taking your eyes off of yourselves and using your voice as a platform to spread goodness.
Yeah.
I can kick it off. You know, I had never really even thought about the fact that there were challenges with the environment before I was on the Mickey Mouse Club. Maybe someone mentioned always recycle, maybe I saw a commercial, but it was on the Mickey Mouse Club that they invested time, money, and energy into training us to think about the future, think about our planet, think about social impact issues. For instance, they sent me to Costa Rica to shoot a mini docu-piece about the rainforest being destroyed. You know, we did a whole concert on the environment, which was the first time I had ever sang live on stage. You know, all of us, just live concert. We were, you know, learning civic duties. You know, we performed at Bill Clinton's inauguration, the Jerry Lewis Telethon. So just getting out there and being mindful of what's going on in the world and how you can use your talents and your place as a Mouseketeer to help move humanity forward. It's something that I still do to this day, obviously. And then there were days of the week, you know, that...
We actually had Hall of Fame Day, if you guys remember the days of the week. And every week we would, you know, it was our job. So we got to sit down every week and learn about something new, whether we liked it or not. It was our job. As kids, we were inhaling this and soaking it up. I mean, I can remember vividly, you know, the Jesse Jackson episode you talked about.
On racism, yeah.
And we actually had Ryan White coming to our show at one point. I don't know if you guys remember Ryan White, but that was a big deal back then. That was the scariest thing for kids in our generation at that time, was the AIDS pandemic. And it was just crazy. And we had people from the CDC come down, and Disney had people come talk to us at our schools so we knew what questions to ask. And looking back at that now, it was a byproduct. We were obviously doing a show, but the byproduct of what Disney gave us was this education about all of these issues. And like Dale says, it's really ingrained in us. It's kind of like we can't let it go. I can look at each one of these people on this stage and tell you that most of us are teachers now and mentors. And I know Albert's working on doing a production with younger kids for music. And it's just, the give back is insane. And it's not something we were even trying to do. It's just something that's kind of like, we feel like we have to do it because it's something we grew up doing. It's really cool.
Another great lesson was a lot of our followers and supporters were maybe special needs, handicapped, battling cancer. So we got to get all of our fan mail. So when we started getting the fan mail and seeing that we were influencing kids in need or ill, that started teaching us at a very young age, wow, we're influencing these kids. We want to do something to give back to them. They're loving and supporting us. And so that also started kind of getting ingrained right at a very young age.
And we really were best of friends. But to like he said, to get that fan mail and see in our audience, over the years, we would actually look back and see the reflection of who we were. We started to see this entire rainbow of a community. And people would reach out to us and say, I really relate to Albert, or I really relate to this person or that person. There was someone on the show. You could sit down at 5:30. If you felt alone, if you were getting bullied at school, you could always know that at 5:30 you could come home and your buddy was going to be on TV and you could be part of the show with us. And anybody who watched that show was a Mouseketeer, and that's why those ears are sold today in the park. It's one of those things. Everybody who's into that and enjoyed that, you're all Mouseketeers with us. It's not just us sitting up here on stage. It's something that'll continue on forever.
Yeah, I love how you guys had inclusion and diversity early on, but you also crossed some very controversial or challenging topics, sensitive topics. So, like Jen, could you tell us just briefly about the special on Jesse Jackson?
Well, and I will say that, coming from a small town and really just remembering that, Lindsay and I, 10, 11 years old, we're really just stepping out into this amazing, diverse community of young people who do the stuff that we do, and we're reeling about that. And so I was taught very early, and I'm so thankful about a higher level of diversity, about really seeing a lot of people who look a lot different than me, and we celebrate those differences, and we do include, and it's not about separation, it's about connection. And so honestly, I was so young and such a sponge. I learned just so much filming and experiencing everybody else's sections of filming that particular show. And you just sit there with the man, and you ask questions, or basically what I'm saying is the older kids mostly ask the questions. But I'm sitting there like a sponge, and I'm looking up at him, and I'm listening to the things that he's saying, and all of these, it's like your heart just, it breaks because it wants everything to be fixed right now. We want everyone to be happy, and I just knew at that moment that this was something that was going to change, I would say, my perspective forever, as far as I'm always going to reach out and connect, and I'm going to make people feel comfortable. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to sit next to more people like this and learn as much as I can, so that I can be an ambassador of what he's there in the room saying, because I don't know what's going to make the cut on the show. So I'm listening to every single thing that he's saying to make sure that I can absorb, and that I can really send that into my family, send that into my community. But I would just say that from my perspective, it really was more of a first eye-opener of what could be, and what you can say out loud. So I was just very inspired. I was definitely a sponge on that show.
Yeah, it's incredible. Dale, you were telling me about the Clinton inauguration and the concert for the environment. Can you share with them a little bit what we talked about yesterday?
What did we talk about yesterday?
Well, we talked about those two things and the Jerry Lewis Telethon.
The interesting thing about that whole process is I wouldn't have considered myself particularly sensitive to socially conscious things. But when you're with these other people and you're learning diversity and inclusion and the power of that, just by the nature of waking up every day and interacting with people from all over the world, it rewires your mind. It's impossible not to have empathy for people that don't look like me. One of my best friends was, from the show coming up, was from Utah. He's a Mormon. I was the first black friend he ever had. Might have been the first black guy he had ever really had a substantive conversation with, right? And he was the first Mormon I ever knew. And we got super tight, and we just got a chance to ask each other great questions and really get in there in a very authentic, innocent way. And it rewires your mind so that you're just so open to humanity and who we are and what we all are about, you know?
I want to talk about the music day and your celebrity guest day.
New Kids on the Block.
New Kid.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, the studio that day, boy. So they pull up in a limo. We're in the school trailer. Jennifer McGill runs out, fanning out. And I go, Jennifer, they're on our show. You can't fan out on New Kids on the Block. I don't care. They were all going nuts.
Joe gave me an Egg McMuffin to share breakfast with me.
We had so many guests, I can't even think of a favorite. I mean, every week, you know, all of a sudden TLC would be walking in, or, you know, you just didn't know.
Yeah. Boys to Men, TLC, I don't know some of the earlier episodes.
We even had Milli Vanilli up in there.
Milli Vanilli.
Before it got brought to the public of what they were doing with the lip syncing, they were on our show. Yeah, and I remember our director said, I can hear their mics, there is no way they're singing.
Yeah, well, let's be truthful. Let's be truthful. Our crew was obviously very, you know, they were kind of playful, but they were like, you know what, let's turn on the mics. They won't know. And we'll record it on a separate feed, and then we'll just kind of make sure and see what's going on. Oops. So yeah, we did fun stuff like that. But yeah, Milli Vanilli was on there, and we got through that.
So let's go behind the scenes, because this is the juicy stuff that we want to hear.
We got juicy stuff.
Tell me crazy stories, like wacky stuff.
Well, we were just talking about it. Our school trailer was backed up to the great movie ride.
So where he's talking about, that was actually in the video that you saw there. A lot of that stuff you saw was our school and our commissary. That is actually now what Pixar Street is now. So our trailers were on Pixar Street, our wardrobe was on Pixar Street. So any of you who walk through the park, you'll know that's literally where we were running around on rollerblades and
dissecting a
Jennifer's
frog.
bike.
We did a science experiment where we dissected your frog. It was your class.
A frog right there on
but
Pixar
I got to
Street.
sit there and watch you, and it was right there on Pixar Street.
Yeah, because our schools from hometowns would send us our work, and we would have tutors obviously there with us, but we were still enrolled in our schools from our hometowns, from Houston.
We would take extra long bathroom breaks.
Yeah. I'd be like, Albert, come on, let's go jump on the movie ride real quick. And during school, we go take a break, do the movie ride.
They'd be like, where's Damon? I'm like, he went to get a bagel at Craft Services. I'll be right back.
We had, the trailer had two entrances, one at each end. So like one would go to this end, the other would go to that end. We'd be like, I've got to go to the restroom. And then all of a sudden 3 or 4 of us would disappear half the day. The stage managers would come looking for us. And
We didn't have
fun
cell
times.
We were kids, come on.
We didn't have
We
cell phones
commandeered a
back
golf cart for, you know.
Oh,
We had fun.
I'm so jealous of the kids who were brave enough to steal a golf cart and drive it around. I was so jealous.
then. Who did that? What?
No one I remember.
What?
We took our own backlot tour.
It was our own backyard and playground. It was pretty incredible. Silver passes for all the parks too, so we could take, friends and
Us
stuff.
plus 4?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Us plus 3.
So like if it was a Tuesday night, say, hey, let's go have dinner in Paris. We go to Epcot and jump in the Paris part of Epcot, have a little dinner, watch the fireworks, and break out. It was amazing.
Hashtag blessed.
It was an incredible way to grow up, that's for sure. Absolutely.
Well, we had no beepers, there was no cell phones, we had no chips in our neck. Like, they didn't know where we were. We could have gone anywhere. We could have been stolen, I guess.
To be fair.
We would have known for 4 hours.
To be fair, we all left our hometowns, so we all became each other's best friends and support system too. So it really became our home, and we literally lived at Disney.
Yeah.
We went to school there. I don't know anybody else that graduated or went to school at a theme park. But that's what we were doing every
And we
day.
lived together. When we would go home from work at night, we would all go to the pool, or we would go
Beach in the hot tub.
jump on golf courses, or whatever it is we did, throw frogs in the air. So we all lived together after work as well.
And our brothers and sisters, at least one parent. I remember my brother for a minute had a desk next to the writer's office with a little sign, Justin McGill. right? You know, and so they would go out of their way, like the
He's
staff.
CEO of his own company today. Man.
The staff would go out of their way to celebrate us, and I remember back when we used to celebrate holidays before they were scared of us. Chase walked in on stilts one day into the bungalow because he had this huge costume on. He was juggling or whatever you were doing. You know, we would really just own the bungalows and own that studio as our home. And when I try to describe it to people as I was growing up, they'd say, what is it like to grow up on the... Well, we didn't necessarily know the difference. At least I know I didn't. Because I felt like, well, this is what, you know, once you turn 10, this is what life is, right? You just do this, right? This is what life is. But it was like our backyard. I would say, you know, that favorite family home or, you know, that backyard, it's as familiar as that. It was just, you just walk out to the backyard. That's what you do where you live.
You guys got into a pie fight.
I was the sniper.
Something like that. Who was in trouble?
And
guess what?
And that's the adults doing that. So the mentors for us, obviously the Fred Newmans and the Moevas, and I believe you have footage of this. But this was a gift. This was a gift at the end of the year. Hey, watch out, buddy. We got this ready to go.
We got this, man.
And this was a gift to us at the end of the year. We all went out like a little cast party, and we'd have a little dinner. And then Fred was like, "Can everybody step outside? I have a surprise for you." And I don't know how much you have shown.
And that's when I climbed the fire escape.
Yeah, literally, we all came out and got in the line, and we were like, "What is he doing?" And there was a huge, construction truck there, and he opens up the back gate, and he's like, "It's all yours." And it was, I don't know how many pies. He had hundreds of banana pies. We turned Pixar Street into like an ice skating ring because it was so slippery. They actually had to bring in the fire department to spray it all down. But
I think they sent Fred the bill for that, didn't they?
Let's roll it. I want to watch this. I haven't seen it. Let's roll it.
Everybody, could you just come together in the center right here?
Really, on behalf of all the people on camera, we wanted to do something that was very special. For everyone, I'd say, let's party in this. Everyone has their own individual. Most of it dispersed, but there was a lot of activity out here. We kind of went into a genetic mode of, hey, Brandon. God, it changes your face so much to see banana cream on your face. I can't think of it.
Oh my gosh. This is good!
What happens, buddy, when you get crunk? I feel good, man. This is a free country. You can do anything you want. Yeah! Right here, baby. This is what it's all about. People local.
These are my glasses. This is what they look like on me. Let's see if I can get them on. It's a look. Not everybody can have this look, I think. Oh, right in my ear. This is bad. This is very bad. This is really bad. Some decorum around here. We're trying to put a show on.
This is terrific. It's a true dignified celebration of the end of a cycle of the Mickey Mouse Club.
That was the executive producer there, man.
Yeah, so if you ever see any banana around Toy Story Land, that was probably a leftover from us.
Looks like a lot of fun. I wish I was there for that. Okay, let's transition to the party. So 4 of you are here today that are in the party. And so it was season 3 with the spin-off. And you guys got to work with Dr. Dre and some other big hitters, which to me is not typical Disney, right? This is kind of a step out into the pop world, and it even launched Hollywood Records, from what I understand. So Dee Dee, can you share any insights on your experience with the party?
Sure. We were, on the Mouse Club, just doing our thing, and then Hollywood Records came and had a meeting with all of us and shared some songs and asked if we would be interested in singing these kinds of music, these kinds of songs. I'm trying to remember everything. It's been a long time. So 5 of us, Albert, Chase, Damon, Tiffany, and myself, we were the first to sign with Hollywood Records. Gosh, we picked up and recorded 4.5 albums, toured with High Five, Taylor Dane, Color Me Bad, Vanilla Ice, and had a blast. It was a whole lot of fun, and I can't wait for tomorrow night. I hope all of you are going to be there. Tickets are still available, I'm told. So yeah,
Thepartyreunion.com.
Sorry,
Thepartyreunion.com.
Yeah, so we have not played in what, how many years?
Oh, 30 plus.
Yeah, so it should be fun.
It'll be fun. I've got my Ben Gates.
Don't pull it. Don't pull a groin.
You got it.
Stretch.
Honestly, though, Disney would take our lead because we were always trying to kind of push the envelope a little. We're kids, you know. So I remember going into Peter Paterno's office, which was the president of the label then, and they were like, "Who do you want to work with?" And we were like, "NWA," you know. And they're like, "Yeah, okay." But in the next second, he would have Eazy-E on the phone in a conference call. "Hey, Easy, yeah, I got the party here," and we're just like, he's got Eazy-E on the phone right now. And then he passed us off to Dre. Do you remember that, man? Do you remember they literally?
100%.
It was like, it's just the weirdest thing to be on a conference call with Eazy-E.
Peter Paterno was an entertainment lawyer, so his connections were already pretty set before he became president of Hollywood Records, right? Then we had Disney funding backing it. So you had Peter Paterno with his connections plus Disney's money. So we literally said, Dre, and he said, it's a phone call away. It was done. Next thing you know, we were in the studio with him talking about concepts. It was that crazy.
And it's another soaking up of information too, because we're sitting next to Dr. Dre, we're sitting next to Ted. They sent us to Virginia Beach with Teddy Riley for a couple weeks. And I mean, just for us to sit there and inhale that and watch them produce, and I mean, I know it's made a deep impact on us here today. And
that was music college.
Yeah,
it was music college, a lot of that.
Absolutely.
We worked with some amazing people that absolutely fortunate to be around. It was a fun thing. Oh yeah, Stephen Bray. Yeah, so you Jelly Bean, yeah.
And Stephen Bray actually wrote, I think, Papa Don't Preach. He produced Papa Don't Preach and Express Yourself. And I think he just did the Aretha Franklin Think that just came out, if anybody saw that. He's responsible for all the music. So
we had a lot of fun. It
was a blast.
I'm still having fun today.
And we're going to bring it on tomorrow.
Albert, tell us one of the biggest lessons that you learned from the party, and tell us one of your favorite memories.
Work ethic, because we worked. And also how to get along with personalities, different people, different ways of working. And I love them. I love everybody up here. It's been very emotional for me because I don't do this, and I'm doing it. And they asked me to do it, and that was a good thing. And just to see all the people and the memories and everything, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, so you lot guys with this one here backstage was pretty awesome.
Almost lost it. Some relationships, they haven't seen each other in like 30 years, so to be an observer of Brandy and Albert getting to see each other for the first time in 30 years is amazing. And Lindsay, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, if you don't have your tickets already, they're performing tomorrow night. It's going to be magical.
House of Blues.
Full band.
Okay, so now the new seasons of the Mickey Mouse Club brought some big names. And you guys got to work with, and the show produced Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, some of the names that you mentioned before, Ryan Gosling, and Vogue's Rona Bennett, and of course, Dale Godboldo. Yes. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and you know, the party was, in my opinion, underrated. I mean, you guys are extremely talented, and you broke a mold that Disney had never done before, going mainstream. and you did it well. So what is it like to have that kind of influence on younger musicians, talent, and artists coming up because they were watching you, they were studying you? Like, what does that feel like?
Just hearing you say that is actually really awesome. Thank you so much for saying that. You know, it's something we don't really think about that much, but it is true. We were kind of the start of that whole machine that came beyond that. The High School Musicals, the Olivia Rodrigos, the Demi Lovatos, the Miley Cyruses. All of that was kind of spun off what we had kind of begun. And we were in a really weird time when we came out. It was just past New Kids on the Block, and if you guys remember, that was when the Seattle sound was hitting us in the face with Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, which all of us were listening to as well. But it really kind of just took that out of the mix. And we were too young to realize that everything always comes around in full circles, you know. So we were like, oh, okay, I guess that's over. We got to move on to the next thing. So that's kind of where that ended up happening, and why we jumped ship there at the end, because it just kind of came to an end. There wasn't a want for that kind of music. But of course, you know, a couple years later, you had the Spice Girls and Backstreet Boys happening, and they were already ready in the wings, ready to go. So it is really neat to see how things just keep going. And now the party's been lost forever. It has not been out there. And if you're not on iTunes or in the digital realm, you kind of just get forgotten about. And through all of the fans and through all of you guys just keeping the interest and keeping the love, they listen to you guys, you know, and Hollywood Records put it out last year, 47 songs, our entire catalog. And, you know, it's really cool that my kids get to listen to that now and kind of get to understand what
Alexa can play all your favorites.
Hey, you know, I can kind of speak to that, what you were talking about, that influence, because I came in season 4. They were on 1, 2, and 3, and then they came on 4 as the party. And I got a chance to work with those guys, and I was sort of at the beginning of the next, 4 seasons. And who was I watching? You know, I was telling Albert the other day on the phone, I said, watch Close to You. That's you, brother. I'm just imitating you. I stole all your stuff. You know what I mean? That's what you do as an artist. You know, you are influenced by your surroundings. And they were just a tad bit older than me. They'd been out to LA. They were doing that. And so I was watching those guys. So then, when you had the Justin Timberlakes and the Britney Spears and those guys come on later on, who do you think they were watching? They were watching the groundwork that the party had laid down. And then some of what we were doing as well. That's just the nature of putting all of these outstandingly talented kids smashed into one area. It's like a performing arts academy. You can't help but learn from your elders, like I did. I learned from my elders, and I'd like to think that some of the younger guys were influenced by the legacy that they built leading into where they are today.
That's incredible. Okay, there's a rumor floating around, so I'm going to need your guys' help on a true or false here. Now, I do research and I go deep. And I learned from a little bird, this could be true or false because I tell stories, that one of you, Mouseketeers here on the stage, had influence on Justin Timberlake in his desire to develop his beatboxing skills. So, is this true? Raise your hand if you guys think this is true. Come on, raise your hands. Okay, now hands down. If you think this is false, raise your hands. Okay, Mouseketeers, is it true? Tell us.
I believe it is true.
Oh, that's very true.
Okay, so now, was it Lindsay or Dale that influenced Justin? Lindsay!
Okay. Get it, girl.
I don't think so. Is that a real question?
It is a real question. I'm just doing research. I got to get to the facts.
I can't take claim to this one. I didn't. Should I? Should I just claim this?
I think you should go with it. Just go with it.
Okay.
Let's go with it.
If Lindsay's not, heavy on this, then Dale, prove it.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Justin Timberlake on the beatbox.
All right.
Sanitize that microphone, please.
That was awesome.
This microphone, this is shot.
I've known him for 25 years. I've never heard him do it too. That was amazing. Give him another big round of applause.
He did it in the rap.
And the irony is that I got to see them. I got to see Nsync in LA, and me and Chase went and supported them in their very beginnings. And Justin did a thing with the drummer where he would beatbox a little bit, and the drummer would echo him. And I remember that, and did not know it came from this man right here. That's awesome.
It's not like I sat down and said, do this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to think I had a big influence. And that goes back to just what we were saying. That was a funny joke. Obviously, Lindsay didn't teach him how to beatbox. But you just want
How dare you? How very
wanted to
dare you.
spotlight the influences that this environment creates. I'm not who I am, but for standing next to Jennifer when watching her sing. Who do you think I'm listening to trying to figure out how to hit the notes? You know what I mean? Watching Damon perform on stage. Who do you think I'm watching to figure out what I want to do? That's what you do in a collaborative environment like that, and that was the spirit of what the Mickey Mouse Club was about.
You know what's cool, Dale, though? I've heard that same story from so many people that are our friends outside of the Mickey Mouse Club. People that, had gone on to do great things. People who have written, screenplays in Broadway, and people who've produced movies and won Grammys, all from watching basically the Mickey Mouse Club and that institution. Not just us individually, but the whole idea. Inspired by.
So the party dropped a new single on the 9th of this month, just a couple days ago, titled Party People. And again, they're performing tomorrow night at House of Blues. So thepartyreunion.com. Get your tickets. Join us. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a party.
And what's happening tonight? Huh? Brandy, why don't you tell them what's happening tonight?
Yeah, Brandy.
Lindsay and Brandy.
Tonight we're having a wonderful Mickey Mouse Club concert. Yeah, so we're going to be performing, some of us more than others, because some of us perform more than others. And what else are we doing tonight? Besides the concert. Oh, Lindsay! Oh my gosh, Lindsay!
Right.
If you have not seen Lindsay's show, you absolutely, it is a must. You have to come see it. It is amazing. She obviously is incredibly talented. But please come see the show because you will not regret it. I have never laughed and I've never, wow. I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
I think I've cried every time you've done your show.
I can't wait. She's a one-woman show. It's called Blood, Sweat, Mouseketeers, and she is able to take her experience growing up with us, growing up in that environment, and putting it into a 45-minute show, 45 minutes, and it's incredible. And she takes you on the journey. You literally are gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, it's gonna blow you away. It's awesome. So please, y'all come tonight and see that.
Well, I'd love to spend another hour up here with you guys, but we're running out of time. So why don't we close with, tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing today with social impact initiatives, giving back, making a difference. And basically what impresses me about you individually is you're continuing to be great 30 years later, with or without the Mickey Mouse Club show as a platform.
Yeah, I'll kick that off because I actually want to share with them the MMC 30 recap video that I think really speaks to the question. So, as we've talked about a lot throughout this panel, we're about giving back whenever we can. We're here today supporting Give Kids the World Village and their incredible work to provide cost-free vacations to critically ill children and their families. We, Chasen and I, with Brian, toured Give Kids the World just the other day, again for Chasen and I, and it pulls on the heartstrings. The work they're doing is so incredible. So we're so proud to be here supporting that. We're here as sort of an MMC 89 initiative. That's what we call it. Leveraging and reaching back and leveraging the Mickey Mouse Club for what it's always been about, for good. Right, and we were able to get together, everyone unfortunately but my boy Albert, who came out this time, but but we were all at MMC 30 here at Walt Disney World in 2019 to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the all-new Mickey Mouse Club. And if you haven't seen it yet, we have a recap video and we'd love to share that for you.
MMC, baby. MMC 30. MMC rock. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have you guys stay up here because we are going to transition into our Be Great Humanitarian Awards now. So what we do is every year we select approximately 20 humanitarians that are absolutely advancing humanity and empowering the planet. And we honor and recognize them with a humanitarian award every year. And this is what we're going to do today. So we've got a special introduction for some individuals that are really making a difference, and I need your guys' support and engagement to really liven up the room when they come up, okay? All right, so what we'll do is we're gonna have my assistant, my business partner, Chance Dyke, come up to the front so he can help out, and we're gonna have our award recipients prepared to come up. And I'm also gonna have some help from you guys in presenting the awards, if that's cool.